do be one.
Okay.
You are now tuning in. Nah, nah. I wish I had a fucking radio station so I could say. You're now tuning in to. Never mind.
Welcome back. It's Talks with Jay and Zay. Um, it's been a few weeks since we recorded, and we've been pondering what we were going to talk about next. So we came up with a topic, and as we typically do. So I haven't really told Isaiah what's I researched behind the topic. It's attachments and relationships because that's mostly what we're focusing on in our episodes. So I just wanted to ask Isaiah, what do you think when I say attachments? What are we going to talk about?
When people are codependent, dependent on other people in their lives, whether it be healthy or unhealthy.
Precisely. So attachments basically is like a theory, and it's focused on relationships and bonds that are formed between people, specifically in long-term relationships. So, when you think about where attachments start, obviously it's when you're young, and that very young age of infancy between like 7 and 11 months, which seems so long ago to think that that is affecting people still
Well, you said what age?
between 7 to 11 months.
So you don't think the baby's attached to his mom right out the womb?
No,
Is the mom attached to the baby right out the womb?
I think the mom is attached to the baby right out the womb because she already has.
So
And
what about the moms that dump their babies in dumpsters?
See, that's again where we get into like a broken kind of attachment style, and something has happened to them to where they don't bond and they can just give up their baby.
So how do you know when a baby's attached to you at 7 months?
How do you know when they can trust you? Their needs get met and they're happy. And happiness looks like they're comfortable and they're playing and they're free and they're not like crying all the time or you're not able to console them. And if you think about it, when you get older, what does that look like for teenagers and young adults, people who are 25 and up, who didn't learn how to bond and cope and be consoled and trust other people? What comes to mind in their behaviors? What do you see? What do you think is happening?
If you break it down between men and women, you see men who are, well, I guess it can go, I guess you could take gender out of it because both men and women with attachment issues show signs of being quote unquote a hoe.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
A whore,
A whore.
a slut,
Okay, we get it.
a skank. I can go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
No.
A 304. And
Oh,
you didn't see that coming. Go ahead.
no, but I guess in gender, you could take gender out of attachment
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't matter. It's just the signs that they show when either it's because they didn't have attachment growing up that what is it? They can easily cast away people.
Right. They're distant and or they are both clingy and they want to be around people, but then once they get around them, they're fearful and they back away. They distance themselves.
Is that what kids does it mostly show up in?
What kids mostly does what show up in? Like that attachment style?
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking for like a gender? Or are you asking for like a race? Are you asking
No,
for like
no. More so, do you see it in single parent kids, or do you see it in kids that are in the foster system?
It's definitely more so like kids that are in the foster system, or kids who are parents are divorced, kids who, they have like a single parent. But I wouldn't say it can't exist in two parent households, because it all depends on what attachment style your mom and your dad have. And, if that's your mom and she's not with your biological dad, okay, but who is this man if she's with another man? What kind of love is he giving you? What kind of relationship is he building with you? And that's why it doesn't have to be, it could be caregivers in general. Some people get taken care of by their aunts or their uncles. But if those people also have...
I ain't trust not one nigga that got brought up by his grandma.
Okay. Why is that?
Random, but them niggas be shiesty as shit. It's just something about them. Them niggas be shiesty as shit. And I had close friends that were brought up by their grandma, but I just never trusted them. Something about it just didn't sit right.
Is it men who are brought up by their grandmoms, or is it
it's like when niggas
kids
be like,
in general who get raised by their grandparents
really
have
men,
the
like boys,
stigma of being what?
It's just something you could tell, like, they know that their parents was on fuck shit at an early age. So they accept fuck shit and fuck shit mentality. But they have a high regard for their grandparents or grandma.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you just a shiesty little nigga, and I just can't put my finger on it. I just never trusted people that got brought up by their grandparents.
Now, do you think that's because they don't have, like, a relationship with their actual parents? So, like, what I'm saying about that bond, so you can have other caregivers in life. Other people are going to come into your life, and that's going to affect that too. But when I'm saying that 7 to 11 months, if you're talking about boys being brought up by their grandparents at that age, specifically
No, I'm talking about, they probably got put in custody to their grandparents at like 5.
Okay.
So they have experienced a lot of shit up until 5, and started coasting good. I just never trusted. I don't know. It was me at an early age that when a kid or a little boy would be like, "Yo, my grandma raised him." I was like, "That is strange shit." I always knew they would be shiesty, and they proved me right.
A majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. They steal, and they don't. It's not like stealing from stores is cool and shit. Like big box retail stores, you just steal from them niggas. Don't ever say you can't. Don't steal from like little boutiques and shit. That's hard earned money and shit. But them niggas will steal from everybody. I had one little nigga, he stole my PlayStation game and acted like he ain't steal it. So I had to beat his ass. And I was like, that's because you got raised by your grandma.
That's what
she a shy steal bitch.
Oh.
No, I'm playing.
I wonder what it was about the grandma and specifically and how she raised him or them. Let's not, whoever this them. Is, whoever they are, how they were raised, did. Whatever the grandma did, what caused them to be, as you say, shiesty. Because I'm sure that is what.
It probably wasn't the grandma. It's probably that they don't have no parental structure.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying I never trust niggas raised by their grandmas. Ever. Like, I really distrust them. If a nigga told me at 27, 28, 29, 30, like, yo, I was raised by my grandma, I'd be like, you gotta stay away from me.
You gotta stay away.
You don't steal from me. And now at this age, I have to kill you.
Well, I think people can change, and over time they can grow. And, like, you gotta believe that just because they were raised by their grandma, that maybe they can find
I had an even
someone,
terrible take on that, but yeah, I feel
find someone who will influence them.
they don't find a
to-
girl that was raised by her aunt.
Okay.
Sorry, it's just like it just be wild, more wild shit. Like when a girl be like, "I was raised by my aunt," you be like, "Eh."
What's wrong with being raised by an aunt? I think of a family structure, let's think about that.
I hope my family never listens to this, but yeah,
If you can be raised by other people in your family, I think an aunt is probably a good choice
yeah.
because she's probably,
If the aunt has kids, it's a good choice. But if the aunt doesn't have kids, it's a terrible choice.
these are the type of decisions I have to think about in my line of work, because when you're in foster care, they're always thinking about who's the next of kin that you can go to.
But the next of kin ain't probably the best of kin.
And that's why adoption exists.
Adoption probably ain't even the best thing either. They should just let them out in the jungle
Let them
And-
out in the jungle.
and let them fend for themselves. And if they can't, then so be it. When it
Squid
is,
Games or
no,
Hunger Game it
Hunger
out.
Games. Like, or really, it's just, what's the shit called?
Utopian societies? I don't know.
The cycle of life.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you're strong, you don't survive. If you're not, there is a morgue.
Oh.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I've been going off of tangents. But attachments, I see what my thing is. I've seen the different types of attachments. Like being a single parent child myself. At least I grew up with my mom. But when I seen kids that grew up that were adopted, grandma, auntie, who else? What's the other one I've heard before? This will just be grandparents and auntie. Niggas who be uncles be like, fuck that. Fuck.
Uncles
Unless you
don't
a
really step
strong-
up to the plate.
Unless you a
think?
strong man in your own right, you be like, yo, I'm not taking care of this nigga's kids. I love them, but fuck them.
I've seen,
That's why I'm glad every one of my
seen,
family's kids are damn near grown.
this is a
I wouldn't take care.
pretty unrealistic, like an ex-wife of an uncle. What about that? That
Ex-wife.
person stepping up to the plate.
Women are stronger in general to be able to do that. 'Cause I know I'll be like, I love my family kids, but them niggas eat a lot. You have to start thinking, like, if I'm not financially where I want to be, I'm not going to take in no kids.
I think a lot of people do feel like that, and they feel like it's
Now, if I had a kid on accident, it's like, okay, true.
because it's your kid,
Yeah.
but your sibling's kid. Well,
I'll have
is it
siblings.
because you don't have siblings that you can't relate?
No, I knew if I had siblings, I'd be like, that's your fault, nigga.
No,
I'm
I
a-
think you feel differently.
I'm really a mean person. And you know this.
I know, but I think in reality, like, you have to you weigh the options, especially like if you didn't have kids or if you did.
I'll take care of them if they were coming in at like 15.
Dang, why?
Because I'll be like, all right, so you experienced some bullshit or you haven't, and this is a very unfortunate set of events. You'll need that 3 more years, nigga.
The only reason why I kind of like, okay,
I'm
that's
joking.
cool, is because nobody really wants to deal with a teenager. So I mean,
You can fight a teenager.
you really can't, but you
Shit.
shouldn't.
Close quarters. I'm like, let's go to this basement room where no one can hear us. I'll
Just
just-
get our anger out.
You might be taller than me, but I hit like 7 bricks. And one hit don't make you piss yourself.
Ooh.
I'm not promoting child abuse. But if a little nigga needs to get his ass beat, no.
You're part of the problem.
I probably am part of the problem. Because I really don't care.
So I think a lot of people in your situation, or like in the situation, like would have to weigh the options, like you said. And
Yeah, I'll
then,
be like, shit. If I make 60,000
and
a
then
year,
like you,
I'll
like
take
you
in
got to
one
think
kid.
about like they're gonna challenge me, and this is how I'm gonna want to handle it. So
no, I wouldn't
Do
really
I
handle
really?
it like that. I will be like, yo, do you have friends? I just scrounge up $1,000 for them to jump your ass.
oh, you think of some really
Yeah, like some
wild
terrible shit. Yeah,
consequences.
like, I would be like, yo, I'm gonna get you jumped. I'm not gonna, there ain't no taking away electronics. They don't teach you shit. A good hard ass whooping where you have a black eye teaches you something.
I know that it's embarrassing.
Yeah, you be like, damn, I'm walking around with a black eye. No one cares. Niggas is giving me ice and shit. Like, you might have a
Thinking that's
concussion.
gonna make me feel better.
Like, you deserved it for talking back to a nigga that's trying to help.
Yeah.
Like that. That's why I know I couldn't be a foster parent. Cause I'd be like, eh. As
It's
soon
a
as they say
hard
something
thing.
real ignorant, I'd be like,
It's so tough just to even hear those stories, because it's like, what would you really want to do? It's like, truthfully, I wouldn't handle it well.
yeah, I'll drag the little bitch.
I'm
Fuck.
like, but I respect and appreciate all those out there who handle it very well and get the proper resources in place for those kids, because mostly what it comes down to is, especially in any kids are going to be bad. They're going to be defiant. They're going to try you. They're going to test you. But I think when you've been abused and you've been taught to do some really wild things to survive, your defiance a little different, because you feel like you can go out there and get it by any means necessary alone at that. And it's always like at any age, really, like 7, 8, 9.
What was that article you was talking about?
The article I was talking about, it just went into the different attachment types.
So give me throw one at me.
Okay, so secure attachment is like what ideally would happen if your caregiver was responsive to you. And then the other ones are all insecure attachment types. So there's it's kind of like this diagram where there's high avoidance, and then there's high anxiety, and then there's low avoidance,
What's high avoidance?
like distancing yourself from someone and not wanting to, not engaging or feeling trust, or like you just distrust people. And if you
That's
have
a-
a high avoidance.
Peculiar word to use, avoidance. I don't think something else, but
Well, I think, because I guess the attachment types are avoidant and fearful avoidant. So this is just a diagram of like where you would fall if you were one of those. Fearful avoidant can also be known as disorganized attachment, meaning that you don't, like I said earlier, you engage with people and you want to feel comfort, but then you also, like, as soon as you get that, you distance yourself because you have a fear of actually falling for people.
can I throw in some misogyny?
Okay.
Okay. This don't sound wild. This don't sound very, very misogynistic.
Okay. I'm like, what are you gonna say?
So, fearful avoidance. Would you say that goes for like girls that fuck dudes, get too attached, and be about like fuck multiple dudes and be attached?
Yeah, probably.
I made that more PC than what I was really thinking in my head.
I'm kind of glad
Yeah, 'cause I was
that
about
you
to say,
did that. Cause,
I was about to say hoe, and I was like, that's just wild. But I don't want a woman, you know what I mean? She'll be able to. It's freedom of speech, though, right? No?
you already said hoes and all that in
When?
earlier today.
I didn't say hoes.
You did.
I didn't call someone.
You said hoes, whores,
I didn't
and you
call.
said it could be gender neutral.
Yeah, it's
or
gender
something?
neutral.
Okay, so you throw in the misogyny in it, meaning you just want to talk about women.
Yes.
Okay. So you think that women, when they sleep with guys and they catch feelings, but then they have a bunch of different guys that they're doing that with are the fearful, avoidant, or
Yeah.
disorganized attachment style. Likely, maybe so. I'm not gonna pretend to be a psychologist or therapist or diagnose like every.
But we can pretend to be that.
No, we're not gonna
Okay.
pretend to be it.
I,
We're just
I
gonna
can.
talk about these things in general and think out loud about that made you think of that. Like that kind of behavior is probably fearful, avoidant, or disorganized attachment. Like, okay, maybe so. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, I was saying. I know a bunch of you no.
It goes for the guys too. There's
I
guys
don't
out
know,
there that
not
do
one
that.
nigga that gets out playing.
I'm
I know
like,
a whole bunch of
please,
them.
they
There's a whole
out
bunch
here.
we call them Tinder dick niggas.
Tinder dick?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
For real?
Oh my gosh, no.
It sounds wild as fuck. It's overly too sexual. That's why I don't even like when other men say that. I'd be like, yeah, you make me feel uncomfortable. You make me feel like you about to grab me. Anyways, but
They be out here too. They go out, or maybe they're on Tinder, they're matching, and they're
I don't think niggas use Tinder
just
anymore.
catching body after body because they don't want to be alone.
I think men who like literally, I can't. It's weird because a dude can have hella bodies, but not have that attachment issue.
No.
Is it an issue? Okay, is it really an issue for a man to have 200 bodies?
We're not talking about that.
No, but I'm saying we're talking about disorganized attachment.
Yes, but I'm not saying because of the number of bodies that they're disorganized.
Okay, well, what would you read into that?
Some people do just like to have sex. And I said people for a reason.
Hoes.
No,
There
because
you go.
I'm not using a gender.
800219.
And And I'm not saying that if you have a lot of
8023,
bodies
my
that
bad.
you automatically fall into that category, because it's not that. Some people do have an issue with just getting into a committed relationship, and that issue is behind attachment. But if you have no issue settling down and you decide, I'm not going to settle down, I'm going to go out, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to be single, that's a lifestyle choice.
Why does fun always equal sex?
I'm not saying fun equals sex.
See, you women are more horny.
I see where you try to go
Mm-hmm.
with that.
'Cause
I'm
y'all
saying have
always-
fun as in like you like to not be tied down to one person because you want to be able to go move around and
Let me
do
throw this
different
out there. Women
activities.
always say, I'm just out here having fun.
okay when they're having sex.
Yeah, it's like, you catching bodies, man. They like, don't lie to me. I'm just out here having fun. Don't lie to me. It's so hard not to say bitch. It's really hard.
It's
That's
not
how
that
ingrained it
hard.
is into me.
It's not that hard.
It really, if you come from an environment of hood activities, it is hard to not say bitch. That's like when you go to church and they be like, praise Jesus, and you be like, yeah, bitch.
No one goes to church and cusses like that.
I
but
swear to God, I've said bitch in church.
no,
I was like, oh God, bitch.
they must have kicked you out.
No, that was just like, it's a real nigga over there. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't said bitch in church, you might not be a real nigga.
Dang.
You be like, oh God, bastards.
I
Turn
would-
this shit up, my nigga.
I would never. But you do
Anyways.
you. You do you. Anyway, the other ones, before you interrupted me, just kidding. The anxious attachment style is like you have a fear of abandonment. And
I think a lot of people have a little,
a little fear of abandonment.
yeah.
What I will say
Because nothing's guaranteed.
the reason why everybody develops a small fear of abandonment over time is because if you have relationships with people and then someone does you wrong and then or you lose friends, which everybody loses friends over life. Like,
Nah,
you
10 that just
can't-
get killed this year.
yeah, you can't avoid abandonment in life. So yeah, we all develop a little bit of an anxious attachment style, but it goes a lot deeper if that is your primary attachment style, because the way you behave is actually kind of hurtful to other people, because you're so worried about your partner leaving you that your hunger for validation it supersedes anything else that you need in the relationship. And nobody can validate every need that someone else has. So that attachment style, if that is your primary and you have no little ounce of security, you will most likely not be able to withstand relationships. Somebody else may not be able to withstand that type of attachment style, if you see what I'm saying. Because you're extremely needy, and neediness only goes so far. You know, your clinginess only goes so far. You know, if you feel like, dang, my partner isn't texting me back quick enough, and you do that every day, somebody's not going to be able to handle that, and or you're going to have to make strides in doing that less and working on trusting that person, because ultimately it feels like you don't have trust with them.
I see what you mentioned earlier. I was like, hold up, Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly feeling like your partner doesn't care enough isn't going to work, especially if you're with someone that cares. So that attachment style, if it's a primary, is going to show itself in very ugly ways at times.
You know a rapper named Boogie?
Boogie?
Westside Boogie, not A Boogie with a hoodie.
How did you know I thought of
Yeah,
a Boogie with a hoodie?
because everybody thinks about him when there's a real Boogie, a real Pyru Boogie. And he says, damn, I forgot the line. Hold on. I had it in my head and I just completely forgot it. Essentially, he says, I want to know if we don't get married or not.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know when I die or not. Or not when I die or not, but when I die.
Mm.
And I want to know these things are for certain. Because nothing is guaranteed. So is that insecure? Or what was that?
Anxious?
Anxious?
So he said he wants to know when they're going to get married.
He wants to know
If they're going to get married?
no, he wants basically he wants to fast forward to see I want to.
Oh, I want to see us already married, and I want to see my death. Oh, I don't know if that's that attachment style.
That's a fire. You gotta listen to it. That shit's fire as fuck.
I think I'm just more concerned with what Homeboy really wants with that. Like, I mean, I don't want to see my death. That's kind of scary.
I kind of. I think I have
The whole married part was cute.
I think I have an idea on how I'm gonna.
I think a lot of people
for sure.
want to see themselves married so then they can stop worrying.
I think I'm gonna
too.
draw like Scarface.
No.
Okay.
Hopefully not.
That should be fire. At least I die with nigga. At least I die on my feet and not on my back. See.
Yeah, you had to take it there. But what I was saying is it's cute to want to see them married, and like I said, lots of people probably want that. They want to see themselves married so they can stop worrying. Maybe that's a little bit of
You
this,
should still worry if you're married.
Exactly. Like, you could see yourself married, but you don't see yourself getting divorced.
Or you don't see your
or you
wife.
don't see your wife or your spouse dying.
Or you don't see your wife getting trained by 7 niggas.
Oh my gosh. I hope not. Like, that would be grounds for divorce.
You'd be like, yo, you walk in and there's 7 men taking turns. You're like, oh shit.
I didn't know she was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope not. See? But that's the point. It's like you can't really
Read a lot of stories.
You can't really rush and get there. And you shouldn't because it may not be what it appears when you actually get there. So it's better just to take it in as it comes.
All right, throw another one at me.
Well, the avoidant attachment one we were kind of talking about, and all of these attachment styles, they have kind of other names. So if you ever are interested and curious and researching more, it may come up as something else. I'm just kind of giving quick definitions and stuff. So it's also like a dismissive avoidant is also another name for the avoidant attachment style, since you said you didn't like that one. And that one is basically having fear of intimacy.
What do you mean intimacy?
Like you have trouble getting close to
Niggas
people.
don't like their ass getting ate?
That is not just one. That's one form of intimacy. Intimacy is
Ass eating
many things.
It's like top tier form of intimacy. But I feel you.
Like sexual intimacy maybe, but
Oh,
we're not talking about that. That's why I didn't say that. I
my
said
bad.
intimacy in
I
general.
jumped ahead.
So what are you thinking?
I read ahead.
What else are other forms of intimacy? You know them.
Buying something.
Of course. So these people probably don't buy. They ain't buying nothing for their significant other. If you
Yeah.
have this attachment style, you probably don't feel like you can invest in somebody. I could see
Exactly.
what you're saying there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else? Like if you
Being
don't want to
vulnerable.
get close, yeah, you're not gonna cry in front of someone. You're not gonna sit up there and watch movies and then talk about personal histories of any sort or disclose anything that's happened to you. You're gonna be very closed off, and relationships to them feel very suffocating. So they rather not have the relationship. They just want to get whatever they want to get out of it. These people are typically emotionally unavailable. So whatever behaviors you see, go with that.
Emotionally constipated.
In a sense, yeah.
No, just when something really like triggers them, they start shitting.
Oh my gosh, that was good. I like that analogy. That was funny.
Don't do me that Mexican handshake.
Oh my gosh, don't say stuff like that.
it's Mexicans, y'all know what that handshake is, and it's very uncomfortable.
Okay.
And it's like very awkward. It's like, is he gonna stab me after?
No. I
had
don't
another-
have no plans to stab you.
I'm just saying, like when Mexicans do that, you know, like do this. I'm like, oh my god,
Oh yeah. I
it's
feel
cringy.
it. Okay.
You like,
I'm
what the
sorry.
fuck are you doing, nigga?
My bad.
Don't ever handshake me.
I'm
Just,
so sorry.
just hug me or something. Grab my butt.
It's a little bit too intimate. Just kidding.
That would be funny. If a dude grabbed my ass, I'm like, this nigga wants this shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I just say gay jokes. They're funny.
They do.
They are very funny. Like,
They
hey,
do
if
make
a man
people
grabs your
laugh.
ass after he hugs you, shit, you might have to give it up.
No,
All right,
you-
my bad. I'm
you
getting
don't
off
ever
tangent.
have to give it up. That was way off topic.
You don't wanna hear my prison. Anyways, go on.
So yeah, that person just basically prefers independence.
Is that true independence, or
They-
is that just?
They prefer to rely on themselves.
I just see myself being a teeny bit like that. And I'll sell my kidney before I really want to ask somebody for some shit.
Oh yeah, it's
If
really
it was easy
awful.
to remove my kidney and sell it on the black market, like it was like direct to buy type shit, I get patched up, little 30,000. I'm straight. I ain't had to ask nobody for nothing. I can't. I probably can't drink a lot no more, but hey, who cares?
You're so willing to give up your kidney.
Don't
What
you
if
have two of them?
But what if something happens to the other one after you already
What
gave up
happened?
your other one on the black
See, you
market?
speaking mad.
I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of things you got to think about and not just be
Nothing
like,
would happen with my kidneys.
oh, I can't ask for help, so I'll just sell a kidney. Like, that's,
I said if it was like direct to buy on the black market, like they had an app, they have somebody come out, sedate you, cut you open, fit you up. Deposit
I
a
would
little
not
30,000
trust
into
something
you.
like that.
I would.
Somebody with a knife and you
No,
unconscious,
it'd
they
be a
could take
doctor.
they could take whatever else out that they wanted.
Shit, they take a little stomach fat. I ain't tripping.
Well, what if they take something else more important than that?
Like my
Like, is that the only other important body part you got?
If they take my heart, I ain't gonna know this because I'll be dead. I can't say shit. Like, yo, you took my heart. I can't fucking function. Fuck it. Like, well, obviously, you have to make sure you have to have like 10 people in the room with you that are all trusted individuals. So if he starts doing some wonky shit, just blow his head off. Say, rush me to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if somebody
know, that was
came
a
up with
wild
that
ass-
idea,
That's a
hopefully they would
fire ass
have
idea.
some more
I need to pitch it to like
precautions
the
and
mafia or something.
stuff in place to make it secure, because that sounds kind of wild.
I need to
me.
pitch that to the mafia. Like, yo, we should make an app. Black market app. It'll be on the dark web. Boom, boom. We become instant billionaires. No.
Yeah, I think it would make a lot of money because people are probably already
Direct to buy organs.
doing it in some form or fashion, very illegally.
Niggas are dying and missing all their organs.
Right, like
Specifically black people. So if you're black, don't die in America.
yeah.
That's just my advice.
But also, don't be so unattached to people that you feel like you got to make that kind of sacrifice, because that's crazy. Anyway, the next and the last one is the fearful avoidant attachment style, and it's basically what do you think? I've given you the other one, so I wanna
Fearful. Wouldn't that just be the same thing as you're just in fear of someone abandoning you?
It's a combo of the anxious, avoidant.
Yeah. So it's just all of them.
Not all of them,
I mean, it's all the bad ones.
just the two bad ones. Just the two bad ones.
I said all the bad ones.
There's 4 altogether.
Oh. Well, the two bad ones.
This, like I said, they crave affection, but they don't want to be actually with somebody. So
Oh,
they're reluctant to just be in romantic relationships, but they desire to feel loved. Like, they
That's
say
like-
that this one is the most.
common.
No, actually, they say it's the most rare.
What? That sound like every chick that be like, I don't want a relationship, I want to get some dick.
I know, that's what we were talking about, and I think the reason that
That's the
it's
same shit.
so under discovered, under researched is because
They're probably like, oh, you hoes ain't shit. My bad.
it's probably because people aren't like seeking help or something. I don't know. I don't know why it's so under.
It can be rare because I know plenty of chicks that be like,
Associated.
I don't want a relationship, but I will fuck everybody in the fucking world.
Right. They take
bad.
a lot of risks. And here's what I'm saying. Here's where I feel you're right. They take a lot of risks, heightened sexual behaviors,
Exactly.
or they're in domestically violent relationships.
Oh my God. Why does it have to be the man? Why does a bitch have to get beat up to be in a fearful? Man, come on now.
What do you mean? It's in the title. Fearful. Like, you're going to be loved by somebody and then hit. Loved by somebody and then hit. Loved by somebody and then hit. So that's why I feel like it's
That sound like a
under
good Saturday.
researched, because people in those kind of relationships don't really come forward.
I think there should be a separate category for niggas that hit women.
Okay.
Like, just put them in the dog kennel category.
Dog kennel.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Like, niggas who beat women and niggas who rape women and kids and woo should all be put in one category and put in one cage and shot to death or set on fire.
Yeah. If it was that easy, right?
That's why America needs to start adapting more of those Middle Eastern policies.
We really don't. It's why do you think people flee from those areas?
'Cause
We
want-
don't need to do
No,
that.
because Middle Eastern countries don't like if you sucking dick and you a man,
Okay.
or eating pussy and you a woman. They don't like that. And then they don't like women in general. But it's like, you know what I mean? Man. But if you a pedophile, you don't get your ass beat the fuck up, stoned to death, castrated.
I think the thing with America is like
America be like,
people-
you raped a couple kids, you just go to jail for 3 years and you come right out and you'll be rehabilitated. Like, nigga,
Yeah, they think that there's rehabilitation, even though the research points to there not being rehabilitation.
them niggas
and
become
those-
hornier in jail.
They become even more aggressive
I'm sorry.
aggressors
Wild
when they
ass.
are returned to the community and they commit other wild offenses, and it's like a vicious cycle for them
That was a terrible joke, I know. You trying to talk through it. But it was funny, though. It was funny as hell. They become horny in jail. Come on, now. If you heard Dave Chappelle say that, you would be like, oh, that's funny as hell. See, that's what black people do to other black people. We down talk each other.
I did not down talk you. I said nothing. I
I'm
just
fucking around.
chuckled and I let you have your little moment.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
See, since you're a woman,
Hmm.
you can answer to being LGBTQ.
What do you mean? I can answer to that.
Because you're more emotionally intact.
Okay.
So, do you think Dave Chappelle was wrong? No, he wasn't.
No.
That's all I gotta say. Dave Chappelle wasn't wrong. You motherfuckers are sensitive. And yes, black trans lives matter. But y'all just need to take the joke. Like how y'all take that.
Mic drop. I just
That's just
think
my ending.
he's not wrong. I think again we're becoming extremely sensitive, and like we do need to just sit back and take a joke every now and then.
It's making life very
Unappealing,
yeah, like nigga, I hate y'all.
unfun, not fun, non-fun, whatever you want to call it. Like we can't even laugh at things if they're funny anymore without somebody being like, "Oh, now you're transphobic." Like, really? That's not okay.
I heard my last thing is they're starting to say if you wouldn't fuck a trans person, that you're transphobic.
Yeah, it's going a bit far because everybody needs a choice.
And it's like, damn, I really have to start sucking dick.
You don't gotta start doing it.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
They're
like,
gonna
yo,
make it seem like
if you don't
feel
suck
like
dick, you're a
people
homophobe.
have to, but
It's like, oh my god.
no one has to do anything they don't want to do. Like, we all need to just do what we feel comfortable doing and be who we feel comfortable being and be around who we feel comfortable being around. With that, I just want to, that pretty much wraps up our conversation on attachments, but we're looking forward to November. We're looking forward to November, and there's so much to look forward to in November. And I just want to say it's a really good month because it's a month to be grateful and show gratitude. Some of the national days in November that I wanted to kind of shed some light on was November 3rd is Stress Awareness Day. I think there's a lot of stress in all of our lives, and our podcast wants to serve a purpose in promoting mental health and just being aware of your stress, your anxiety, your depression, how you're feeling just in general. So definitely on November 3rd, take some time to do something that's not stressful and just take a break, whether that be for 15, 20, 30 minutes. Do something for yourself that will decrease your stress.
Within the national days this month.
Yeah, that's one of them. There's also Deviled Eggs Day is November 2nd. If you like deviled eggs, make some.
Three what? Three strides. What is this?
I said this one, Stress Awareness Day.
Oh, I thought.
November 14th, Family PJ Day. If you have some PJs that you and your family rock during the holidays, you can wear them or go buy some for the holidays coming up. It's one thing my family
Yes.
likes to do.
When is Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is always on November 25th.
So it's we're gonna rename Thanksgiving to Native Slaughter Day
Unfortunately,
or Native.
I don't
Chicken
like to
Slaughter
think
Day.
of Thanksgiving that way. I like to think of
It's
it
the
as a
reality of
day
things.
to
Sorry
give
about that.
thanks,
It's the
show
reality.
gratitude, be
Isn't
with
it-
family.
It wasn't meant for that.
I know it wasn't meant for that, but
You can't make up your own meaning when something is meant for deceiving.
you can celebrate things
destruction.
however you want to celebrate.
No, you
and
can't. No, you can.
this
Listen,
segment of
we
the
should bring back
show,
shaming and talking bad about people.
this segment of the show is to show you that you can celebrate something every single day of the month, every single day of the year. There's always something to celebrate. If you ever want to look at what's going on any given day, you can look at nationaldaycalendars.com. That's what I like to do.
All right, that's a wrap. Also, respect your grandparents.
Respect your grandparents. Just give them thanks this month.
Give that little hoe some thanks.